Raiden Shogun. She's an Electro burst DPS that increases your team's burst damage and helps recharge your entire team. Her E-skill, Transcendence Baleful Omen, summons the Eye of Stormy Judgment. When casted, Raiden will deal Electro damage to enemies in the area based on her skill. After that, the Eye will stay active for your entire team, so whenever a character damages an enemy, the Eye will deal an additional coordinated Electro attack to that enemy and anyone around them every 0.9 seconds. Additionally, while the Eye is active, it will increase the elemental burst damage of your entire team, which includes Raiden herself, based on how much energy the caster's burst costs. The higher their burst cost, the bigger the damage bonus they receive. And if you're in co-op with Raiden, your co-op party members who deal damage with your skill will only be able to deal 20% of the damage that you will normally do yourself. Raiden's skill will last for 25 seconds with a 10-second cooldown, allowing for 100% uptime as long as you recast it within this time frame. Her burst, Secret Art Muso Shinsetsu, will deal one massive Electro strike to enemies in a wide area, dealing tremendous damage based on her Muso no Hitatachi base damage. Then Raiden will enter the Musu Ishin state, where her normal, charged and plunging attacks will be infused with Electro that cannot be overwritten by any other element during this time. She will also have increased resistance to interruption, as well as being immune to Electro-charged reaction damage. All of Raiden's damage coming from her burst will be considered elemental burst damage, meaning that upgrading her normal attacks or any buffs associated with normal attacks will not affect Raiden's burst damage. Additionally, her burst will also be able to generate energy for your entire team every hit she does to an enemy, with a 1-second cooldown before each hit, up to 5 total hits per burst. Which means at talent level 10, Raiden will be able to generate up to 12.5 energy for your entire team, including herself. For Raiden's Chakra Desiderata, which is the purple ring around her, will be able to increase Raiden's burst damage. The way the ring works is each time a character that is not Raiden herself uses their burst, you will gain something called Resolve Stacks. Then whenever Raiden uses her burst, she will consume all the Resolve Stacks gathered to increase her burst damage further. The amount of Resolve Stacks you'll get will depend on the character's burst cost. And the ring around Raiden will also light up to show how many Resolve Stacks you currently have. Like, for example, based on my Resolve Stacks gained, which is at 0.20 at talent level 10, a character who uses their burst with an energy cost of 80 would give Raiden 16 Resolve Stacks, with each stack giving her an attack damage bonus for her burst. So basically, you'll want to use everyone else's burst before using Raiden's burst in order to maximize her burst damage. The higher their burst cost, the more Resolve Stacks you'll receive. Raiden can hold up to 60 Resolve Stacks, which at talent level 10 will max out with 300 energy cost. For the passive ability Wishes Unnumbered, means that when Raiden or party members gain energy from elemental particles or orbs, Raiden will gain 2 Resolve Stacks. This way of gaining Resolve Stacks can happen once every 3 seconds. This is also a perfect time to mention that Raiden's elemental skill has about a 50% chance to generate energy particles with each hit, which helps her reliably activate her passive ability. This means that Raiden will be able to gain at least 12 stacks from this passive ability before using her burst, since her burst has an 18-second cooldown. Which also means that if you have a full party of team members that have an 80 energy cost, you will be able to max out her Chakra Desiderata ring within a single rotation. For the passive talent Enlighten One, means that for every energy above the base 100% you build on Raiden, she will be able to recharge even more energy to teammates during her burst, and gain additional Electro damage bonus for her overall damage. Like, for example, if Raiden has 200% total energy recharge, she will be able to generate a total of 20 energy for your entire team from using her burst, and you will gain an additional 40% Electro damage bonus from this passive. Likewise, if Raiden has 260% total energy recharge, she will be able to generate a total of 24.5 energy to your entire team from using her burst, and gain a bigger 64% Electro damage bonus from this passive alone. And for the passive ability All Preserver, will reduce the amount of Mora needed by 50% when ascending swords and polearms. Before we get to weapons and artifacts, you should understand how much energy you should have on Raiden, since balancing her stats is the key to maximizing her damage. It's generally best to keep Raiden's energy recharge between 215 and 250% while still maintaining her with high attack and a good crit stat ratio. At around 215% energy recharge, she would begin to have enough to cast her burst consistently within your team's rotation, and going beyond 215% energy recharge will also increase the energy she gives to the team and give her a bigger electro damage bonus. Although you can technically get away with slightly less than 215% energy recharge, I still recommend having as much energy as possible, since it would help with Raiden's burst consistency and increase her electro damage bonus and team-wide energy regeneration. This range also helps keep a good balance of energy, because unless Raiden is using her signature weapon, the Engulfing Lightning, then too much energy recharge can lead to diminishing returns, making attack a more valuable stat for increasing Raiden's damage than energy recharge. For Raiden's weapons, you should focus on energy recharge, since it boosts both her damage and energy generation for the team. Raiden's two best energy recharge weapons are her signature weapon, the Engulfing Lightning, and the free 4-star craftable from Inazuma, the Catch, since they both provide her with stats she really wants. Crit stat weapons are still a great option for Raiden, since crit stats have a higher value for increasing her damage, but can make building Raiden more difficult since her burst and overall kit require a lot of energy. Raiden's damage also benefits greatly from the attack stats that come on some weapons. Raiden's best artifact set is the Emblem of Severed Fate. This artifact set gives Raiden an extra 20% energy recharge for her burst, as well as converting her total energy recharge into more burst damage, which is especially useful on Raiden since she is typically going to have a lot of energy recharge on her. For Raiden's artifact stats will vary depending on her weapon and team. A general best build will use energy recharge or attack percent sans with an electro damage goblet and a crit stat on the Circlet. Like for example, if you're using the Catch on Raiden, then in most cases you will want to run an attack percent sans on her instead of energy recharge in order to keep her stats balanced and maximize her damage. But if you're using Raiden's signature weapon, the Engulfing Lightning, then energy recharge is still her best stat, even if her energy recharge is very high since her weapon will convert energy recharge into more attack. To put it simply, if Raiden is not using the Engulfing Lightning, then attack percent sans will normally provide more damage. However, if you're using Raiden with characters like Bennett or Kujo-Sara on your team, who can boost Raiden's attack with their support, then energy recharge can still generally be your best option. As for Goblet, Electro damage bonus will outperform an attack percent Goblet. However, an attack percent Goblet still provides respectable damage, similar to an Electro damage Goblet, so it's best to pick the one you have better substats on. With all that being said, crit rate and crit damage are still the most valuable stats for increasing Raiden's damage, while still making sure your Raiden has both a high attack and energy recharge stat. Elemental Mastery is also a great substat to have on Raiden for occasional reaction damage, like from Aggravate and Hyper Bloom, so be sure to look out for those substats when determining which of your artifacts are the best. For Raiden's Constellations, C1, Raiden's resolve stacks will be gathered even faster. Electro characters will give 80% more resolve, while non-Electro characters give 20% more when using their elemental bursts. Which means that typically for a character with an 80 cost burst, will give Raiden 16 stacks, but with C1, Raiden will receive 19.2 stacks instead. And if the character is of the Electro element with an 80 cost burst, then they will give Raiden 28.8 stacks of resolve, making Electro characters more suitable to run with Raiden. Which also means that you'll be able to run lower burst cost characters on your team and still be able to max out Raiden's Chakra Desiderata Ring. C2. While Raiden is using her burst, she will ignore 60% of the enemy's defense, making this one of Raiden's strongest constellations. C3. More burst damage. C4. When Raiden's burst is over, all nearby teammates that is not Raiden herself will gain a 30% attack bonus for 10 seconds, giving Raiden additional support capabilities by helping increase the team's overall damage. C5. More skill damage. C6. Raiden will be able to cut 5 seconds of your team's burst cooldown, except Raiden herself. The way this works is with each normal attack during Raiden's burst will cut the team's burst cooldown by 1 second, with a 1 second cooldown before the next hit, up to 5 hits total. And finally, I want to mention Kujo Sara because she is one of Raiden's best teammates. This is because she can provide Raiden with more attack that is based on Kujo Sara's base attack and generate electro particles to help Raiden's burst consistency. And if you have Kujo Sara at C6, you can also boost Raiden's electro crit damage by 60%. This pair also activates the Electro Resonance, which will help generate even more electro particles for both herself and Raiden. And that is Raiden Shogun, a powerful burst DPS and burst support.